That thing looks so good. Old guy. What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Chevy Equinox LS. Huge thank you to Duane Ferguson over at Koons, Tysons, Chevy, Buick, GMC for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular Equinox LS or any GM product with the exception of Cadillac, then I'll be sure to have Duane's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, well, just like usual, first I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Chevy Equinox LS, and this particular one has been painted in sterling gray metallic. I wanted to preface this video by saying for 2024, Chevy introduced two new color options to the Equinox lineup, both Riptide Blue and Lakeshore Blue. But this one being the LS, as standard, you get LED headlights with IntelliBeam as well as standard running lights and standard turn signals. But taking a step to the left, this is what the front end of the Equinox LS looks like. So you do get a satin black front grille with the Chevy logo located at the center. Then you get some chrome accent color trim. I like to call these your grille bars. And then you get these boomerang shaped trim pieces that go in between your running lights and your headlights. And then coming down just a little bit, you get satin black outer grills. Here's a view of that. And then you get satin black lower fascia. And last but not least, you get 7.6 inches of ground clearance with the LS in front wheel drive. But coming on down the side, you get a side marker light right there. And then these are the standard wheels you get with the LS, and they are 17-inch silver painted wheels wrapped in 225/65 Michelin Primacy all-season tires. There is an optional, or there are optional black wheels. I'll put on screen what they look like right now, but these are the ones that come standard. And then here is a view of the tread pattern on those tires there real quick. Here is a front 3/4 shot of this thing. And working my way down the side, as standard, you get these satin black side mirrors, and these side view mirrors as standard are heated, manual folding, and power adjustable. Let's take a step back and do a little side profile shot of this thing. So you may notice, I'm sorry about the lighting, the sun is kind of shining right into the camera, but you do get satin black window trim. Here's a view of that. Then you get body color door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind the keyless access function is only on your front two door handles. The rear two door handles do not get the keyless access function. And then you also only on your front two doors get the chrome Equinox lettering, but at the bottom of all of your passenger doors, you get that satin black door cladding. And then coming to right here, you do get a capless filler neck, and 87 octane will do you just fine here. Here is a rear 3/4 shot of this thing. Up top here, you have your satin black shark fin antenna. Then you get a body color roof spoiler with your integrated third brake light. You also get a rear window defroster. You have your rear wiper back here. You get standard taillights. Here's a closer view of what those taillights look like. It's almost like the taillights themselves are smoked. They look pretty nice. Then obviously, Chevy logo. You get your chrome Equinox lettering on the lower left-hand side of your manual liftgate. And then just beneath your Chevy emblem, located offset just to the left a little bit, you have your backup camera. And then just underneath your Chevy emblem, if you press on that pad, the power liftgate, or excuse me, the manual liftgate will open up. I do have to reach into my pocket and unlock the vehicle first to gain access to the liftgate area. But this is what the trunk area looks like. So you do have your tow hook just right here. These are the standard carpeted floor mats that you get with this thing. One thing that is nice and interesting also at the same time is that you do get a 12-volt power outlet on the passenger side of the trunk. You also get a little storage cubby on that side. Same thing on this side. However, it seems like it's a little bit larger on the passenger side. And then if you lift all of this stuff up, if you grab onto this thing, you get some storage space. And then if you keep going underneath here, that is where you will find your spare tire. And that's kind of about it for what we got going on in the trunk area. However, also, you do get these second row folding seats. So if you press on that, the second row seats will drop for an additional, about 4.5 feet of storage space. So this is where it would normally end. This is where it ends with those second row seats down. And then coming back just a little bit more, we're gonna close the power liftgate and we're gonna finish things off here at the rear end. You get two reflectors back here, as well as a satin black rear bumper and a max tow capacity of 1,500 pounds. And that kind of about does it for the exterior of the Equinox LS. It is rather basic. There is one option that you could get, let's say if you wanted to make the exterior look a little bit more premium, and that option is the $785 LS convenience package, which would tint these rear windows on back and just give it a more premium appearance from the exterior. That is an option that I would recommend getting because otherwise it looks pretty basic. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder that makes 175 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 8 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 26 miles per gallon in the city, 31 miles per gallon on the highway for 28 miles per gallon combined with front wheel drive. So the Equinox does come standard with front wheel drive. If you do want all wheel drive, that is going to cost you an additional $1,600 over front wheel drive. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers and I cannot reach my goal without your support. The likes and comments in particular look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow. So I'd appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, as mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, press this button right here, and it will unlock. You can press that very same button again and it will lock right back up. But let's take a look at the key fob. Most of it is satin black. You have your bow tie on this side, and then going over the functions, you have your unlock function, your lock function, and your panic function. But let's see what the interior of this thing has to offer. So this one's been spec'd with the medium ash gray cloth interior. This is what it looks like. You do get a manually adjustable front driver's seat as well as a manually adjustable front passenger seat. If you did want a power driver seat, you might want to look into getting the LS convenience package because that would give you an 8-way power driver seat with 2-way power lumbar. But taking a look at the door panel over here, you get some leatherette wrapping, some vinyl wrapping, you get your unlock and your lock functions, your power side view mirror controls. This is going to restrict your passenger window privileges. You get an automatic up and down driver window. All the other windows are automatic down only. Then you get a little bit of storage space and a speaker, and that kind of about does it for the door panel. Then you get this satin black Equinox door sill, and again, this is what the interior looks like. So stepping on into the driver's seat, let's take a listen to what it sounds like when you close the door. Now let's fire it up. That is what it sounds like when you fire this thing up from the driver's perspective. Again, you do get keyless access. That also means you get push button start, which your button is located down there. But now I'm just gonna walk you throughout the entire interior, starting over here. So if you see this and you press on that, it pops this thing out. And now you can brighten and or dim the gauge cluster by twisting this to the left or to the right. Once you find your desired position, push it right back in. And then just to the right of that, you have your headlight control knob. So if I twist all the way to the right, that is headlights on. That right there is running lights on. And then that is headlights in the automatic position. Coming over to here, if I flip this down, that gives me access into my manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, meaning I can bring the steering wheel towards me, I can push it away from me, and it also moves up and down. Once you find your comfortable position, all you got to do is lock it right back into place. And now let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like. This is a vinyl wrapped steering wheel, and just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen to the horn. That is what the horn sounds like on the Equinox. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is that behind the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you have your tuning controls. And then behind the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you have your volume controls. And then going throughout the controls on the steering wheel itself, you have your cruise control settings over here. This is for your gap adjust. So basically, if you're coming up on a vehicle like fast and you haven't stopped yet, this is like your least sensitive setting. So this right here is gonna flash red if you're coming up on a vehicle too fast. So this is your least sensitive setting, most sensitive, and then that's your middle setting right there. I'm gonna leave it on the most because that's what it was on. And then this is to turn your lane keeping system on or off. Coming to this side of the steering wheel, this is to speak to the vehicle. This is to hang up on a phone call. And then these 4 arrows, as well as that check mark right there, are all to control your productivity screen located at the center of your gauge cluster. Then that is your windshield wiper control stock. And now let's move into the gauge cluster. So On this side, obviously you have your tachometer. On this side, you have your speedometer. That is your fuel gauge, your coolant temperature gauge, and right now this is what the productivity screen is displaying. So right now we are on the trip screen. It's displaying the digital speedometer readout, the transmission status stuff, the odometer, and your compass. Now, if you wanted to go into another screen, you'd click down right here, and then that will bring you into your trip 1 information, trip 2 information, your fuel range, average vehicle speed. You get your timer, a blank screen, or your digital speedometer readout. This is the screen that I like. Or if you click to the right here, you can go into your vehicle screen. So you have your remaining oil life stuff, your air filter life, your oil pressure, tire pressure, following distance, battery voltage, coolant temperature, traction and stability. If you click right here, you can turn traction off, you can turn stability off, etc. I'm gonna back out of that, keep clicking down, then you get your units, you get your speed warning, which would be obnoxious if you like to speed, and then click all the way over to the right, you have your fuel economy stuff, your economy trend, which is I guess your average fuel economy, but this is the screen personally that I would like to leave it on. But again, if you did opt for the $785 LS convenience package, you would get a 4.2-inch color driver information display, which would be right here. It would be in color. You get a little bit more of a premium look, I guess you would say, maybe a little bit more adjustability as well, without it looking so basic. So I would recommend getting the LS convenience package. That is a 703 speed recommendation. And then up top here, basically you get a vinyl wrapped dash. This is gonna flash red for your collision alert. And then coming over to here, this is your 7-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. You can see you also have HVAC vents to the right and the left of the screen. But this right here is your home screen. So you have your preset radio stations on the top. This is your audio stuff. This is your phone stuff. Swiping to the right, this is your secondary screen. You got your audio stuff, phone stuff, Wi-Fi stuff, Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, OnStar services. By the way, this does come standard with a Wi-Fi hotspot. So let's say you have a kid and you're going on a road trip, right? You're driving down the road. Your kid has an iPad. Well, your kid can connect his or her iPad to the vehicle by going to that Wi-Fi button right there, so they don't have to connect to your personal hotspot on your phone because the vehicle itself has its own hotspot. So that is awesome. And then this is your settings screen. You can go into your system settings here. You can go into your app settings. You can go into your vehicle settings. So this is one of the vehicle settings screens. That's the second one. And then down here you have your different shortcuts. So this is going to shortcut you into your home screen. This is going to shortcut you into your audio screen. This is going to shortcut you into your OnStar stuff. And I would shortcut you into the phone stuff, but I'm not sure what it's going to pop up. And then that is my phone connected to the vehicle, I believe, or that might be the vehicle hotspot. And then that is the time, or the temperature, and then that is the time. Then you get some physical controls. You get a physical home button. This is to go backwards on a track. This is to go forwards on a track. This right here is going to pop up your phone stuff. So right now it's connected to the Apple CarPlay screen. If I click the home button, it's going to bring me back into my home screen. And then this right here is to mute the audio. If I press and hold on that, that is going to turn the screen off. If I touch anywhere on the screen, or I guess I got to press and hold on it again, and it will pop right back up. And again, this is your volume control knob. Coming down just a little bit more, the button on the left is to turn the automatic stop-start system on or off. And then to the right, obviously, is your hazard button. Then you get single zone climate control, fan speed control, temperature control. That is what that looks like. And then coming down to here, you get a 12-volt power outlet. You get an auxiliary jack. You get a USB-A port and a USB-C port. A little bit of storage space down in there. You could set your phone if you wanted to. This is an iPhone 14 Pro Max. You could set your phone like this if you wanted to, or if you had cups, you have 2 cup holders right here. You get an electronic parking brake. Take a listen to it engaging. And then if you wanted to disengage it, you have to push your foot down on the brake, push against that, and the parking brake will disengage. And then coming over to here, if you go all the way back, that is low. And then if you press that, that is going to upshift the transmission. That is going to downshift the transmission. I believe this is a gear limiter. And then a little bit more storage space right here. You get a padded armrest, not very padded though, but it's got enough. And then if you open this up, you get a little divider here. You can take that out. You get an LED light right here. And then looking down in here, there is no connectivity. But, man, I would say that's about maybe a foot, maybe 15 inches deep. So quite a bit of depth down in there, and probably another foot this way. So very good amount of storage space down in that center console there. And then you also have like a pen holder. You can set your business cards right here, and maybe you could set a phone right here if you didn't have a phone as big as mine. But closing that back up, you do not get a lockable glove box, but you get a decent amount of storage space in that glove box. This is what the passenger side looks like. You can see you get some of the gray here, and then this all is black. Standard rear view mirror. This is your OnStar stuff like roadside assistance, passenger airbag on or off stuff. Both of your reading lights are LED. This is your instant dome light on button. It turns on all of your interior dome lights, again, by the push of that on-off button. And then if you see the button to the left of that, this is whether you want the lights to turn on or not when you open up the door. So right now, if I open up the door, the lights will turn on. I press this and this lights up in amber. Now when I open up the door, the lights will not turn on. And then I guess this is normally where you would find like a sunglass holder. So maybe you have to update or upgrade to a higher trim level in order to get the sunglass holder, but I think that's kind of cheap. This is this should still get a sunglass holder, even being the base model. So that's kind of lame. But anyways, coming over to the visor, you get a spot right here. You can set your registration. Then you can open this up. You get a vanity mirror, but you do not get any vanity lights. And then the visor itself does slide forwards and backwards for when the sun is in those awkward positions. OPOOP handle. This is a Bluetooth mic pickup for your Bluetooth phone. You get the same stuff on the passenger side as well, and that's kind of about it for what we got going on here in these front seats. So again, I'm going to go over the recommended option that the 703 Speed recommends, and that is the $785 LS convenience package. It gives you the 8-way power driver seat with 2-way power lumbar. You get the 4.2-inch color productivity screen at the center of the gauge cluster, and then it also gives you the tinted rear windows for a more premium look on the exterior. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You can take a look that this thing has no options on it, but I suggest taking a look at the safety column. You can read everything that you get as standard safety wise with the LS, but I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Equinox LS is spec'd is $27,995. I've done a few videos now with a couple different base models. I believe I did the Trax LS, I've done the Trailblazer LS, and now I've done the Equinox LS, and this one being higher up in the hierarchy in GM's lineup. This thing definitely has more things as standard, but really, if you look at them, you know, obviously the Trax being the cheapest, you get a little bit more the more you step up in money. But I think if you get the Trax or the Trailblazer, I think it's a better value than this, because this is starting to get expensive, and you can get a nicer Trax, you can get a nicer Trailblazer for the money, rather than a base Equinox. And then also another thing is with these front seats, it's got the seat bolster here, and it's got the seat bolster here as well. And if you are, you know, heavier set, you're not going to be comfortable in these seats because the bolstering is very tight. You know, I'm not even a big person, and the bolstering is very tight even on me. So, you know, if you're, you know, maybe a woman or a smaller dude, you're gonna be comfortable in these seats. Like, I'm not uncomfortable, but I don't think I would buy this vehicle because of these seats. The bolstering is just a little bit too tight for me. I'm 160 pounds. But I do want to show you what I got going on in the rear seats before moving into the driving portion. Actually, I do want to show you that this is what the bolstering looks like. So the bolstering is just a little tight if you have broad shoulders, or if you're, you know, a heavier person. Again, you do get automatic down windows here in the back. I do have to unlock the windows by clicking there. And then automatic down, but you do not get automatic up, and the window goes all the way down. You also get a nicely padded armrest, a little bit of storage space, and a speaker. You do get these second row fold flat seats for a little bit more storage capacity. And now let's fold this seat back up and let's see what these second row seats look like. So number one, I like the reclinability right off the bat. Let's see what that equates to here. Okay, so these seats are nice and comfortable. I love the level of reclinability here. Definitely not as much bolstering here in the second row, which is good. But up top here, OPOOP panel, you get a reading light, a spot you can set your dry cleaning, and a Bluetooth mic pickup for the Bluetooth phone. Now when it comes to knee and leg room, I've got plenty of knee and leg room. I am 5'9", Here's another view of that neon legroom. However, you do not get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat, but you do get a seat back pocket behind the front passenger seat. You also get 2 HVAC vents back here, 2 USB-A ports, as well as a center fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders. And the armrest is not very padded, but it's not padded at the same time. Like, it's comfortable on my elbow. And then you get the same stuff on that side as you do here on the driver's side. So, you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now on to the driving portion of the video. Take a listen. It's got pretty decent getup. Now, comparing the Trax, the Trailblazer, and the Equinox gets the 4-cylinder. The other two get turbo 3-cylinders. This one is a turbo 4-cylinder. So that might be a big thing for some of you. Like, hey, you know, I really don't want the 3-cylinder. I'm gonna have to step up to the Equinox in order to get the 4-cylinder. So that's where I can see people, you know, wanting to step up to the Equinox rather than a you know, nicer Trailblazer or a nicer Trax, is just because of the engine. You know what I mean? It is, let's see, it feels a little bit peppier than what you get with the Trax and the Trailblazer, but not by much. But you can tell that it is a little bit more powerful than the other two. And then also, when it comes to the suspension, this thing is very comfortable when going over bumps. I don't notice the suspension being too firm. I don't notice it being too loose. I'm happy with how Chevy tuned the suspension in this. Now, when it comes to the seat comfort, again, if you have broad shoulders, if you're on the bigger side, I would suggest sitting in one of these before pulling the trigger, just because the seats or the bolstering is kind of narrow. But here's a nice little acceleration. So that's just something to take into consideration if you want the Equinox, or the Equinox is on your list, but you haven't gone and test drove one, you haven't sat in one. You know, that's going to be a case-by-case basis. It's really all dependent on how big or small you are, you know, how comfortable the seats may be. But let's take a left here, and I'm going to give you a hard acceleration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up here straight, and then here, floored. It's got pretty decent acceleration. You know, don't expect this thing to be a rocket ship, because it's definitely not going to be a rocket ship, but it's going to be good for daily use. You know, it's good fuel economy wise. Let's test the handling. It's a Chevy, of course it handles great, but not going to be quick, but it's going to be efficient. So we'll take a left here. I'm just going to do a normal acceleration like what I would do normally. Go to about 70. And then take a listen to what this thing sounds like cruising at about 70. We've got a Ferrari 458. Look how good that Ferrari looks. Oh my God, that's gonna distract me. Oh my goodness, that Ferrari looks so good. Very well insulated from the outside world, but I am so distracted. Definitely a car guy, because that thing looks so good. Oh my God. Sorry. Old guy. It's an old guy driving that thing. I'm so jealous, but he's not going slow. Man, that is such a classic car. I apologize about that, man. That is such a beautiful, beautiful car. But this thing is very well insulated from the outside world, considering the price point of this vehicle. Man, that thing's loud. But anyways, well insulated from the outside world, considering the price point of the vehicle. You know, you can't expect it to be the quietest thing in the world, but I actually am pleasantly surprised by how quiet it is cruising at that speed. And that is something that I also noticed with the Trax and the Trailblazers, that both of them were better insulated from the outside world at highway speeds than I was expecting them to be, which is definitely a good thing. You know, because a lot of people nowadays, you know, everything's so expensive that, you know, the base models are looking pretty good price-wise, you know what I mean? Not everybody can afford the most, you know, loaded up vehicle, which I completely understand. You know what I mean? It seems like nowadays everybody on YouTube's always reviewing the fancy stuff, but nobody really reviews the base model stuff, even though, you know, this is what's affordable nowadays. So considering the price point and considering what you get, I think it is a good value. See, that's the pre-collision warning. You can adjust the sensitivity of that. I think it's a good value because, you know, it's comfortable. It's got some tech features like a backup camera, lane keep assist, that forward collision warning. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto connectivity. So, you know, it's got the nice amenities. It just doesn't have all the amenities. It doesn't have a 360 cam. It doesn't have adaptive cruise control. It might not look, you know, the fanciest on the exterior, but it's a vehicle that's going to get you from point A to point B efficiently. You know what I mean? And it's going to be affordable for a monthly payment. So considering all of that, I think it's a good value. You know what I mean? Go out and take a test drive in one, sit in one, because, you know, when it comes to the seats may be good for some people, they may not be good for other people. The way that it rides, you may like, the other person may not like. So, you know, I can only give you my feedback and tell you that it's efficient, it goes over bumps well, it's well insulated from the outside world, and that it is a good value considering the price point. So yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything from the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, as well as hit that subscribe button. The likes and comments in particular look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow. So I'd appreciate it if you do those 3 things. But again, that is it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.